The number one reason as to why your Erasmus Mundus scholarship application gets rejected is your documents. I'm going to need you to listen up until the very last minute so that you can take care of this. If you actually just received a rejection letter and you might be wondering, what is the reason as to why I was rejected over and over and over again? Beyond, obviously, the caveats that, the committees have in terms of the selection criteria, I'm going to need you to pay specific attention to the documents that you have. And I will break this down into first, academic documents. Academic documents are actually non-negotiable in this case. One of these is obviously your degree certificate. So your bachelor's degree certificate, if you have already graduated, you need to upload the actual certificate. And if you're in your final year, and actually many programs allow this, you need an official letter from your university confirming your expected graduation date before maybe September of 2026 or before perhaps the deadline for this program. So do not just upload your transcript and hope for the best and think that this is okay. Please get the letter from your university stating that you are potentially supposed to graduate at a certain date. And if you don't even know which date it is, you can explicitly write to the consortium of that program and let them know that you will be graduating at a future date and whether they can allow you to send this certificate much later. Your transcripts as well need to be there, because usually you find most of the universities for your undergraduates, they will only maybe issue these transcripts once you have graduated, and maybe much later, maybe you'll have to actually request for stamped transcripts. So this is very crucial for you to request for this ahead of time as well. If they are not available, make sure that you send an email to the consortium saying that maybe these transcripts will be available at a later date. And if they can allow you to send these transcripts much later, then well and good. And if not, then please do not cry over this. Make sure that you can apply for the next intake, because if you're not ready with everything right now, you can always apply for the next intake or even the next, and so on and so forth. Some of these programs, you will find that they will ask for you to calculate your GPA, and most of the programs will request for like a 3.5 out of 4 or equivalent. And there are several of the online calculators that I have even shared before that you can utilize to see what exactly is your GPA. So you just simply need to calculate what your GPA is depending on the things that you actually studied in your undergraduate and the grade that you got, whether it was a second class upper division or a first class honor or second class even lower division, obviously depending on the experiences that you have had that would qualify you towards any type of application. The other set of documents that you definitely want to look out for is your language proficiency, your motivation letter, and your CV. Your language proficiency is to basically just show that you can understand English and you can be able to be taught in English in whatever of the courses, because all of these courses are actually conducted in English. So this is a test that you can do. There are several of these tests. Depending on a program, they will ask for certain types of tests. You might find others also saying that they will accept a letter from your university saying that you actually studied in English. For some of those that do not say anything to do with the language, it means that they are okay with pretty much anyone who is applying. If they have stipulated that they definitely need a language certificate from you, then you 100% have to do that language test. So if you're listening to this right now, then it is time for you to book that exam and be able to do it. If they have not stated anything that, there's usually a clause saying that if you do not come from this and this country, then we can accept a letter from your university saying that you studied your undergraduate in English and that would be fine. For those programs that do not say anything towards that, then you can also ask explicitly through the consortium email saying that, I haven't seen any form of information about this. Is it possible for you to waive this English language test for me if I actually upload a letter from the university saying that I actually studied in English? Another thing that you also need is obviously your motivation letter. And the motivation letter is usually your make or break, which is also known as the SOP in other cases, because it is your introduction of yourself to a person who has never met you, asking them to fund you and saying that you're the best candidate among everybody else that they are reviewing because of your skill set, because of your education, because of the experiences that you have had, because of what you're going to bring into this program. So this is one of the most crucial documents that I would say you need to take time to think about what exactly you want to write on this statement. And not everything that you have done, not all the experiences that you have had over your time are relevant. So you need to think about what is relevant for this program that might not necessarily be relevant for the next program and the next program and the next program. Now, your motivation statement has to be within a certain stipulation of either the word count or some of the titles that have been stipulated on a program website have to be followed for you to be able to write a proper motivation statement. Your other document that you really do need is your CV. Your CV has to be written on a Europass format. For some programs, this is not mandatory, but others, they usually explicitly say that please write on a Europass format. I would say please write, even if the program has not said anything to do with Europass format, just write your CV on a Europass format. Once again, this is for free, and you would need to make sure that what you said on your motivation statement is also, congruent with what you say on your CV. Now, other documents that you definitely want to have are called supporting documents. And these supporting documents would be documents, for instance, like your reference letters, as well as other documents such as your passport, the application for proof of residency, any other proof that a program might request for. So in the first place, we do need reference letters. Reference letters would be coming from any one of the referees, and these referees would potentially be people who are actually taught you. So people in the university, people who have supervised your work as employers, people who have mentored you. And these letters have to be on a letterhead, an official letterhead, and they would need to be stamped. So one of the quickest fire way for you to be disqualified is maybe if you do not have a reference letter that seems legit. And for some programs, they ask for the email of the referee that you would want to write them to write a letter for you. And once they have this email, then they contact this person, and this person has to send them the reference letter. Then we also have the other way around, where you just pretty much upload a reference letter that was written by somebody. It has to be from an official letterhead so that they can be able to see and verify that this is actually legit. It's not just you who faked a letter. So you need to think about whom do you want to be your referee. You need at least 2 of these people. This is very important because some people rush at the very last minute and they wonder what they're going to do. So you need to do this ahead of time. So please create that rapport ahead of time, and also create the rapport. If a program says that they just need the email of this person, create a rapport and ask this referee to be on the lookout on their email once you make your submission of your application, such that they can be able to receive that email and act upon it within the set time frame, so that you're not rushing towards the very last minute. So what I would say, if a program requests for an email of a referee, please make sure that you submit your application with a good enough time, so that in case they receive this email, they are within the deadline and you're not rushing at the very last minute. Other supporting documents that you obviously want to have is your passport. So if you don't yet have your passport, then this is your excellent time to go ahead and apply for it. And your passport obviously takes time. This is dependent on your country. So go and apply for your passport. If you want to apply for an Erasmus Mundus Joint Masters program, it is about time that you applied for your passport as soon as possible, because as much as maybe you might want to submit an application, if you're a successful candidate, you definitely want to have this. You can actually ask the consortiums, if you don't have your passport by the time of submission, you can ask them whether it is possible to send another supporting document, an identification that can stand in place of that passport, such that once your passport is out, then you can send it to them and they can replace it, in their system, so that you have the right documentation. Now, another thing that you obviously need is your residence certificate. I have spoken about the residence certificate on this channel, and your residence certificate is just a proof of where you actually live. And this document, you can obtain it from your area chief. If, for instance, you're from Kenya, you might want to go to your chief's camp and request for this letter. If you cannot go to the chief, you can always ask a lawyer to write this letter. You can also ask your employer to write this letter. You can also have, if you have a utility bill that is in your name, it has to be in your name. And this utility bill could be something like a water bill, an electricity bill, an internet bill, whatever bill that you might have that has your name and states your residence as well. Then you can utilize these documents as part of your residence certificate. But I would recommend you to go to your area chief. It doesn't take much, honestly, for them to write a residence certificate stating that you have been living in a certain place for a certain period of time. Your guide is going to be each and every program website. One program website might not look like the other one. And if you're interested, maybe you have a list of 5 programs, you might see that some of these programs have very different, requirements and the eligibility criteria, but you have to go through all of these, especially the documentation. Now, if you have nailed the documentation, then you put yourself at a very high stake of being taken in as part of the candidates, but it is not a guarantee, because the selection criteria is what holds water. So you need to check the selection criteria, and I keep on emphasizing this. The selection criteria is quite crucial, because you will see that most of the programs will say that, we are going to gauge you according to your motivation, your publications, perhaps, maybe, your degree certificates, maybe the interview. We are going to gauge each and every one of these caveats according to what, how you qualify. And if, for instance, you have done enough of the applications and you keep on getting rejected, do not give up. It is time for you to keep on dusting yourself until you can apply once again and again and again and again until something happens. And once again, like I always say on this channel, you can feel free to spread your wings as far and wide as possible and apply for any other programs out there. It doesn't have to be only Erasmus, but these are the documents that you need for Erasmus Mundus Joint Masters programs. And this is Masters programs. Please check my description box and you will find consultation links, and I'll be more than happy to speak to you. And if you love this channel, please give this video a thumbs up. It helps the algorithm as well. And until next time, bye.